Macklin Celebrini is going to be a superstar, and the Sharks offense might actually be good. What else did we learn this week?
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do, just follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be going back and looking at what we learned from the past week of San Jose Sharks hockey, including trade rumors that are already starting, why Macklin Celebrini is going to be a superstar, and the offense might actually be okay-ish. So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So we're going to start with Macklin Celebrini because Macklin Celebrini is always worth starting with because last time I checked, Macklin Celebrini pretty good at hockey. And I think the biggest thing that we learned from this past week of San Jose Sharks hockey is Celebrini is going to be a superstar, like one of the best players, if not the best player in the NHL at some point. He is like on track to become that player. And this is why you lost all those games in that 23-24 season, is to land yourself a player of this caliber, a franchise cornerstone that everything else is built upon. And Celebrini, at the age of 19, is already entering into stardom territory in the NHL. And it's going to be a matter of time until he's a superstar. And again, just a matter of time until he is one of the best players in the NHL. And he's already, you could argue, knocking on the door right now. As Celebrini was named the NHL's first star of the week this week. He had, in the 4 games this week, he had 5 goals and 5 assists. So he had 10 points in 4 games as the Sharks won their first 2 games of the season the last week. Celebrini is doing things right now that we have seen among very rarefied air in the NHL with his points and his scoring and just the style of play that he plays, and that he is going to start to drag the Sharks to more wins, as we literally saw on Sunday night with his overtime winner. I mean, both the wins are a lot to do with Celebrini literally dragging this Sharks team to relevance, right? The overtime winner when the Sharks are pinned for 3.5 minutes in their own zone. Eklund gets off the ice, Celebrini jumps on and literally scoops and scores, basically, right? And his 5-point effort against the Rangers, including the primary assist on the game winner in overtime, the Celebrini dragging this franchise towards relevance and towards starting to win more games here. But some of the rarefied air that Celebrini is entering in. So he has 15 points to start the season. He is third, as I'm recording this right now on Monday afternoon. He is third in the NHL in points, which is just a ridiculous number to think about, right? Only Eichel and Nick Schmaltz have more, and they're both tied at 16. So Celebrini has 15. They have 16. Like Nylander, Kaprizov, like McKinnon, all have less points than Celebrini. And yes, I know you had a 5-point game in there, but it's not like these other players haven't put up these types of performances as well. Like Celebrini is definitely on a heater right now, but this is again very rarefied air where Macklin Celebrini is right now. He is one of only, this is from the NHL. Only one of 4 teenagers in NHL history who have posted as many points to their first 9 games of a given campaign. So the names mentioned in this, Barry Trottier, pretty good player. He had 6-time champion, 6 goals, 12 assists. He had 18 points in 9 games with the Islanders in 75-76. Wayne Gretzky, that guy I think you've probably heard of, pretty good. He had 5 goals, 11 assists for 16 points with Edmonton in 80-81. Sidney Crosby, pretty good player too. Also with Macklin Celebrini, 6 goals, 9 assists in 15 games in his 2006-2007 season. And then Elias Pettersson, also he had 9 goals, 6 assists in 15 games, the 2018-2019 Vancouver Canucks. So you are, I mean, 3 of those names are like Hall of Fame, some of the greatest to ever play type of players. And Elias Pettersson's has his ups and downs recently, but like Crosby, Gretzky, Trottier are among the NHL elites in the history of the game. And our little baby Celebrini is in this type of era, right? Even his 5-point game, one of a handful of players to do it multiple times as a teenager. I know Gretzky had it like 5 times, but still, what Celebrini is doing is not normal for a teenager. And like Will Smith, who's had an excellent start to his career, right? And Michael Misa, who's had a solid start to his career as well. Like those are typical starts or good starts. What Celebrini's doing is just not normal. And there's no reason to think like that he's not just going to get better and better and turn into this franchise pillar. Like talking to Seth, the host of Locked On Wild, he, on his show, he said Celebrini's gonna be the best player in the NHL. Like, I want to get season tickets to the Sharks, and I don't even live there. Like, that's the type of praise you're getting for this guy here, who is just scratching the surface of what he's going to be as a professional. Like, he hasn't even, he's solid defensively. He's not even like good or great defensively. Like, wait till he figures that part of the game out. Wait till he's doing that type of stuff as well. To go with the scoring. Like Celebrini is a special player that the Sharks have, and if he continues to do what he is doing, and the Sharks continue to build successfully around him, this is going to be one of the best teams of the 2030s. Like, I have no doubt about the way that, like, as long as Celebrini is here and continues to be what we expect Celebrini to be here, the Sharks team is going to be an absolute force up in the coming seasons. And hopefully Celebrini can bring to San Jose the one thing that we've been missing for the past 35 years, and that's a Stanley Cup. But he is well on his way to being that guy for the Sharks and delivering right, the prince that was promised from Macklin Celebrini here. And to all those losses, they don't matter anymore, right? Because you did the hard part. And you landed the franchise star, and Macklin Celebrini is going to be the envy of every other GM in the NHL, because that he is that good. So, because Macklin Celebrini is pretty good, I think the Sharks offense is going to be good as well. And we've seen plenty of flashes of it being good, despite not even really getting key contributions from other players. So we're going to dig into why I think the Sharks offense is going to be good this year. And we've seen enough from it that I think I can declare it's going to be pretty good. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. Let's be honest, most of us can't even name our financial accounts, let alone what we're worth. Between 401ks, savings, investments, it's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. So I started using Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. It's great because you can review everything with your partner. You can see your shared goals, also make better financial decisions together while still keeping your money your money. Monarch's visual dashboards and smart tools make it so much easier to understand where your money is going without making it harder to work for you. It's like your own personal Puckpedia, people. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. All right, before we continue, I do, of course, want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you haven't yet, perfect time to subscribe, as we'll continue to have reactions after every game. We got a late game, 8 p.m. puck drop on Tuesday. We'll continue to cover the best Sharks prospects, and we'll have some Barracuda coverage, interviews, all that fun stuff. So make sure you're following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. So I think this Sharks offense is going to be pretty good. Now, do I think it's like a top 10 offense or anything like that? No. Do I think it's like middle of the NHL? Yes, which is a massive improvement on this Sharks team that was the worst in the NHL last year when it came to scoring goals. So big jump. That's a big jump for this team. And right now they are currently they're 14th in the NHL, have 3.22 goals for per game. Just as a reminder, last year they were dead last in the NHL, where they scored 2.54 goals per game. So if they finish at this 3.22, or if they're anywhere, that would put them, actually last year, the 3.22 would put them at 11th in the NHL. So I don't expect them to be that high. I still think this is probably like a 17th, 18th, 19th in the NHL. But I think we've seen enough signs from the Sharks offense that it can be middle of the pack, which would be good for the Sharks. Because one, we know this team can't play a lick of defense right now. So they're going to try to outscore a lot of their problems. And it's come with mixed results this year. And you know, they've had some opportunities that they would like to, you know, there's a very easy world where this team has four wins right now. If they can close, if they can hold on a lead to the Vegas Golden Knights, if they can hold on a lead to the Ducks, this team, you know, would easily have 4 wins here because of their offense, right? And very much, you can't defend for 60 minutes. You have to score goals, et cetera, et cetera. But a big reason why the Sharks offense is been so good has been the power play. And the power play, as of right now, is 7th in the NHL at 28.1%. So this is before the Sens play tonight and stuff. And this is a big reason to why we've seen success. And this was something I pointed to this offseason as I think the Sharks power play can be good because you're bringing back so many players and you have much better depth, right? Celebrini, Eklund, Smith, Toffoli. You know, this is, as we've talked about before, this is the first time in what feels like forever we're kind of bringing the same group of a majority of the same group of people back. And yes, I know Klingberg hasn't been there. Orlov's been kind of filling in right there as well. You've had, you know, Liljegren on the second unit, Sam Dickinson get a little bit of run here and there as well. But the main tenets, right, of Celebrini, Smith, Toffoli, and Eklund, those have been the guys for the Sharks. And I think that's a big reason why you're seeing this power play really take a big step this year, is because you're just having chemistry, right? And yes, having 71, who we've just spent 10 minutes talking about why he's going to be a superstar, that helps a lot. But I do think like this power play can really kind of prop up the offense for a bit while you still kind of figure things out at 5-on-5. And the Sharks do have to figure some stuff out here at 5-on-5, right? They're still getting outshot heavily. They're still giving out too many shots as well. But I think though, if you point to, some reasons why I think this 5-on-5 offense can get better is you're still kind of missing some contributions from guys, and you will have gotten a lot of contributions from unexpected players, right? The bottom six has been much better this year. Gaudette has been a big addition. We still don't know what his injury news is, right? You've gotten 2 goals from Ryan Reeves, which I thought if you got 2 goals from Ryan Reeves all season, I would have taken the under on that, right? From Reeves. Do I think Reeves' goal scoring is sustainable? Probably not, but we'll take him right now. You have gotten, I think, a much better bottom 6 performance than, a lot of us, myself included, expected from it. But you still have players who are expected to be big time pieces that are still kind of getting into the groove of it, right? And Misa, who's quietly put up production, he got his first goal. He's had a couple of assists elsewhere, but really hasn't been like a big time part of the offense yet as they continue to kind of ease him into it. Like, he's gonna have that Will Smith moment last year, right? Where everything just kind of clicks for Misa, and you can kind of take the training wheels off and let him get going. And once he gets going and potentially earns that second line center position, I think that's when you're going to see the offense really shift into another gear. And this is no fault to Wennberg. Like, Wennberg has been given tough opportunity, or like he's been, having to defend against other team's best centers. And like, he's been put in a lot of positions there. And that Eklund, Wennberg, whether it's Skinner, Kershev, whoever it is, like that line has been asked to play a lot of tough minutes here to allow the Celebrini line to kind of drive the offense. But once Misa gets in there, then you can have 2 big lines, right? A Skinner, Misa, Eklund line, and then you can have that Graf, Wennberg, Gaudette line, and then that third line can kind of be your shutdown line, but still provide scoring pop between Gaudette and Graf. And we've seen Graf have some big opportunities here, just not able to cash in. I think that's when the Sharks offense is really going to take off, and you're going to start to see them really kind of balance out some of the scoring opportunities and the shots and stuff like that. So I get it's a bit of a red flag that they're getting outshot and that they're still, still generating a lot of goals without maybe kind of having some of the analytics to back it up. But I think that's going to come. Like, that's going to come at some point here. And I mean, even like this offense this year, they already have 3 games this year where they have at least 6 goals. Last year, they had 6 games all season. All right, 3 in your first 9 games. So I think this offense is going to probably outproduce expectations because the power play is going to continue to prop it up. And like I said, I think this power play can be good, and especially when hopefully Klingberg gets back, and hopefully soon, or whatever they kind of do there. At least you have those main 4 guys. And I think that the power play is also deeper, right? I mean, the second unit with Misa and Graf and Gaudette, whenever he's healthy, and Wennberg, like, they have enough players that they can kind of patch together a solid second unit. And it's not like the Barclay Goodrows and Luke Cuttins of the days getting power play time. So, and we're still, also waiting for Sam Dickinson to kind of really get into it. And, he still doesn't have any points yet. Not that I think he's played well so far for the most part in his early start of his career. Is like, those points are going to come for Dickinson. Like, he scored way too many points at London for him to be shut out. And he's too good offensively for him to kind of be shut out forever. And when Dickinson starts chipping in a little bit more here and there, like, I do think you're going to see this offense be sustainable and be good. So, and like, start to kind of be more of an even offensive when it comes to shots and generating shots attempts and stuff like that. So the fact that they're getting goals right now without actually maybe, kind of quote unquote earning them, I understand it's a bit of a red flag, but you can see the path to why the offense, I think, is going to get better as this stuff kind of starts to even out with some players hopefully taking on bigger roles here sooner rather than later. So we're going to finish talking about the last thing we learned is that the trade rumors are already starting around the San Jose Sharks. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride a hot hand, Steph Curry, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score the next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, before we finish up, do of course want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen today. For your second listen, check the latest you got to go check out the Locked On NHL Game Night. They cover every game, every night until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. So we're already starting to get the trade rumors. As we know, the Sharks are probably going to be sellers at the deadline. And of course, the kind of the same names continue to pop up here and there as well, because, we all know who the names are, right? It's guys who the Sharks brought in either on one-year deals or guys who are contracts are getting ready to expire, all that fun stuff. Man, Carson Wentz out. Poor Carson Wentz. What a career. Anyway, but all right, let's start with Alex Wennberg, who it sounds like the Vancouver Canucks are really doing their homework on him as a potential piece to add as this team wants to try to kind of make their playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. But Wennberg, Frank Cervalli was, I guess, on his show about this middle of last week, talking about how you've got Wennberg and, they look at guys like Gaudette, et cetera, but Wennberg could be a big time piece for them. And Wennberg does make a lot of sense for the Sharks to potentially trade, especially if Michael Misa continues to develop as we expect Michael Misa to be. And if he can hopefully, again, get the training wheels off here sometime soon and kind of start to take on a bigger role, Wennberg is a potential player that could be on the move. And we've seen with Kurashev and Gaudette, and Dellandrea, who Dellandrea I think's had a really good start to the season, all guys who can play center, kind of slide into that 3C role, because I think that's where Gaudette is specifically should be on a good team as like a third line center. It would make Wennberg a more kind of movable piece for the Sharks, right? And with his contract, it's at $5 million. The Sharks do have a retention slot, and they can kind of bump that down to $2.5 million. I think that's a really, easy piece for a lot of teams to try to kind of fit in as a player like Alex Wennberg. And teams overpay for guys like Alex Wennberg all the time. When I was doing kind of my season previews, I did on my website, The Reef, wrote about like Wennberg and like what type of kind of what other players of his ilk bring back, and it's usually way more than you would expect. Scott Laughton, first round pick. Borkstrand and Yanni Gord, I know it was a package deal, but 2026 first round pick, 2027 first round pick. Mikael Granlund last year, first round pick. Alex Wennberg, 2024 second round pick when he got traded from traded to the Rangers from the Kraken. Like, Wennberg's gonna get you back a nice piece, because teams always are looking for defensively responsible centers who can also chip in scoring. And I know Wennberg hasn't had the scoring this year, but it's easy to point to a team like the Sharks and just be like, it's the Sharks, right? That's why he's not scoring. And if we get him in our system, he'll probably score a little bit more here. So we'll see. Like, if you're using your retention slot, like, he's the guy, because I think it'll help to drive the price up for the return, at least for Liljegren, or not for Liljegren. Sorry, we're gonna talk Liljegren here in a second, but like, these are two player, like, that's a player who I think the Sharks should be very much interested in trying to trade sometime before the deadline. But a lot of it, I think, really is based on what Michael Misa does. And then that kind of opens the door for a guy like Phil Pisa or Zach Ostapchuk or whomever to potentially win that third line center position coming out of camp next year. So, or you can try to go add another piece during free agency next year. So the other ones here, of course, this is from the fourth period. Mario Ferraro and Timothy Liljegren. The Sharks are believed to be willing to take trade calls on Ferraro and Liljegren. Again, two players who are both in the last year of their deals. And with the Sharks having so many defensemen, again, we'll have to see kind of the injuries, right? We don't know the extent of how long Letty's going to be out. Klingberg should be back here soon. We don't have an update on Mukamadulin, but that's three guys right there. You had to grab a guy like Iorio off of waivers here, and you're still going to have to, if you want to keep Sam Dickinson long term, you're still going to have to make a roster move elsewhere to trim a contract, so that way you can have both Misa and Dickinson on the roster without having to, like, if you want to have them when their ELCs actually kick in here after their 9th game. So it would make sense, right? And a guy like Liljegren, who the Sharks traded for around this time last year, right? Maybe you look at a team that is dealing with a little bit of injuries and willing to kind of take on one of these players, because I do think the Sharks should try to re-sign one. That way you're not going into free agency next year with, like, you'd have Orlov, Dickinson, and Mukamadulin like on the roster. Expect Cagnoni to kind of to make a push, right? And maybe Polkamp. But you're still want to, I think, have just some more veteran guys around. And I think, like, if I'm trying to pick between the two, I would rather have Liljegren, because one, I think Ferraro's next contract is going to be, I think it's projected like 6 years, $5 million a year. Like, $30 million for Mario Ferraro is a lot of money. Like, I get Mario Ferraro. That's a lot of money for Mario Ferraro, in my opinion. And Liljegren, I think he's better at getting the puck out of the zone. And I think he's a little bit more versatile type of defenseman. And I don't think he's going to cost as much as Mario Ferraro for as long. So I would be willing to keep Liljegren, but we'll see what the Sharks do here. As again, I mean, teams are already starting to kind of, as we've hit the kind of the 10-game mark, I think a lot of teams are starting to kind of assess what they have and see where they need to try to make upgrades at. And we know Mike Grier likes to make trades. So I think there will be a defenseman moved at some point here to try to make way for Sam Dickinson. So, but that's going to be it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll have a preview as the Sharks host the LA Kings. So we'll get ready for that game. Hopefully we'll have some updates on injuries and stuff. So there'll be a 10-minute YouTube exclusive video on that about early afternoon for that. And then, of course, we'll have a reaction to the Sharks Kings game as well. So make sure you're following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until tomorrow. Bye, friends.